Welcome back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So in my last episode, we did all of the preparations for dungeon number 2, palace number 2. And now we're going to head into the dungeon proper and take on all of the different enemies we're going to face in here. I'm going to start by riding the elevator all the way down the first corridor here. And watch out for these blue blobs, the bot enemies. And of course now we also get fireballs in this particular dungeon that will sometimes shoot out of the skull statues that are in the walls. And we have more of these Hammer Brother throw-in types of enemies. I know they're not Hammer Brothers, but that is the closest thing I can think of to call them. Now we can jump up to the top there, or we can just take a ton of damage over and over again. If you manage to make it all the way to the top and jump over him, it actually can be a little bit easier coming at him from the right-hand side. But I wasn't able to make the jump because I got nailed right by a hammer as I was trying to get up there. Or a spear, or whatever type of weapon they're actually throwing. And now we get to deal with more of these blue blobs with their incredibly random patterns that they engage in. I'm actually going to use my life spell. It is pretty expensive to use the life spell, but it's pretty easy to restore your magic, especially this early on in the dungeon, because you can always just go back to the entrance and get the automatic red potion, which refills your entire magic meter. And so if we need to, we will do that. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to need to do that since we're so low already on MP and also HP. So these guys are pretty annoying. They run at you, they'll hop up and down, and then also shoot balls at you, which might be fireballs. We do need to collect a lot of experience in this dungeon, so I'm actually going to kill some of these bubbles or anti-fairies. And then we need to come all the way to the left here. We have to deal with a new version of Stalfos, which are ones that will actually jump at you and try to do a down slash. If only we could also get an ability like that. I'm sure it would be very powerful. But alas, we cannot this early. And maybe not ever. No, we'll get it eventually. I guess you really wanted to die. And that did allow us to level up there, although we're going to skip it and go for a collection here to get all the way to the next level of attack. So we're going to ride the elevator all the way back to the entrance, because I am very low on health, as you can see. So I'm going to use my MP here to restore my health. And then what you can do is just exit out of the palace area, and then you can come back in, and it'll be respawned as another red jar. Now in later dungeons, you are not guaranteed to find a red jar in that statue at the beginning. It'll actually become a 50-50 shot to also be a iron knuckle or one of the red jars. Now this next room is one of my least favorite in this dungeon for sure, but in the game also, and that is because of these horsehead enemies that are going to come flying at us, or whatever they are. So you need to dodge them, and they are like the jackal enemies from earlier in the game that will hit you and then also steal some of your experience points if you run into them. You want to keep them together because it's easier to dodge them once they're kind of mixed up together and coming at you in close proximity to each other. But once they fall apart and start coming at you from different directions or at different timing, it can be difficult to actually dodge them, especially with the bots in the area. But we are about a third through this dungeon. So now we're going to head into this next room where we're going to find some iron knuckles. We'll do our usual jump slashes to kill them. Fortunately, we did not get a P drop there for a P bag to get some extra experience. And we do have another one. We're going to try to leave that bubble off the screen so we don't have to deal with it while we're killing this iron knuckle. And if you run fast enough, you can usually run it off the screen so you don't have to deal with it. Now, there is another red jar in that particular statue right there. We're going to save it for now. And we're actually going to try to kill some of these anti-fairies. Because again, I do want to get as much experience as possible. We want to hit level 5 attack in this dungeon before we take on the boss. And then I'm going to, after I do that and kill the boss, I'm going to actually grind and get up to 4 for magic and health. And then I'm also going to try to get it so I can get level 6 attack ultimately when I put in the crystal at the end of the dungeon. So it's a lot easier to kill these bubbles now that we have a slightly higher attack. It doesn't take hundreds of slashes, but it still does take a while to kill them. So for the future ones, I'll actually just cut and not show the whole process, since each one takes about, 15 seconds or so to kill. Now this next room is actually a trap room in the sense that you can get completely stuck and soft lock the game. In the sense that you're going to have these blocks falling from the ceiling, and if they happen to fall in such a way that you get caught, you're stuck there, and you're going to have to die. Because you can't actually get through the blocks until you get the special item for the dungeon, which is in this room. On the other side of these red iron knuckles, which we do have 2 of them. Hey, come this way. So they're a little bit more difficult than their orange cousins, or brothers and sisters, whatever they are. But now we get the Power Glove. It is so bad, and rad, and cool. But what it does is it allows us to break through those blocks in the previous room and any other blocks we find in this dungeon. And future dungeons. So now we don't have to worry about getting trapped so that we can't actually progress through this room and actually end up dying. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let the blocks fall into place. And once you have a 2-block space, you can just clear out the bottom rows here, and you don't have to worry about getting hit by the blocks anymore. And we'll just run past, because they don't appear to the right of that floating block area. But now we're about halfway through the dungeon. A few more rooms to go, and some new enemies that are pretty annoying, like this guy, who poops out fire at us. Now fortunately we can actually typically run him off the screen too. If he goes the full way all the way to the left, you can run him off. He will come back, but usually it gives you a little bit of time before the next one comes. Hey, a pea bag. Sweet. Closing in on that level 5 attack bonus. Now this is another incredibly annoying room because of the Stalfos, and most annoyingly is the fireballs that are going to come out of these statues, because they are very difficult to block with your shield. Now I've found personally that doing a little jump sometimes gets them to home in on you and your higher level position, and then it's a little easier to block the fireballs with your shield, but it isn't consistent at all. So I don't know if there's a particular technique for consistently getting through this room without getting hit. I personally have never found it. But now we're going to enter a room with a lot of bubbles. So we're going to start killing them to get the experience. You don't have to do this. If you want to grind in this dungeon, ooh, now we have 2 on screen at once. Hopefully we won't get hit. You can just keep going through the dungeons over and over to amass as much experience as you need. I don't like to do that simply because of those really annoying rooms. The rooms with the horse heads that fly at you, and then also the room with the Stalfos and statues that shoot fireballs at you. Because they can do a significant amount of damage to you. I'm going to get this guy before the bot comes over. Looks like it. Now, before we head down this particular elevator, we're going to head all the way to the right. We're going to kill some more of these blobs. And we're also going to kill this bubble to get another 50 experience. Alright. So we need another key. So to find that key, we're going to head all the way to the right. This room should look a little familiar. It's designed very similarly to one of the rooms in Dungeon 1. Where we have another ball and chain thrower here. There's actually another variant on this a little bit later called a Doom Knocker, I believe is its name. But now that we have that particular key, we can continue onward to some more annoying rooms in this dungeon. I mean, things are just going to get ramped up a lot in terms of annoyingness as we move on. Now there is a particular little trap, sort of, that you're going to have to watch out for. If you are getting close to a level up, there's going to be a pea bag sitting out on a little platform over lava. And if grabbing that pea bag makes you hit a level up, the chances are really good that you're going to fall through the platform and actually end up in the lava. Now there's actually a hidden red jar down underneath all of these blocks. So if you go all the way down to the second level here, and then bash all the blocks to head all the way to the right, in the second set of blocks from the right, from the wall, you'll actually find that red jar. And you can decide if that's worth it to get. I'm just going to get it for the sake of showing it off. So let's restore my magic. And then leave the room by going up the elevator, and you will be able to reset things. So this is the pea bag. Make sure not to grab that if you're going to do a level up. It's possible you might be able to still jump, but I've always found that it's really hard for me to react fast enough to jump off of those blocks before they crumble, to not fall into the lava. Alright, another annoying room. Some more Stalfos. Fortunately, we did not get a pea bag there. Then we do have some iron knuckles as well. An orange one and a red one. And it looks like we're just going to be short of getting 5 attack, which is unfortunate. Missed it by that much. Just 50 short. Alright, so we're going to use shield, because we don't want to die on Helmethead. Nobody dies on Helmethead. You want to run backward, let his fireball hit your shield, and then hit him in the head to knock his helmets off. And then just keep backing up and jump into him and hit him. And he's generally fairly easy as long as you don't get too close like that and start taking a ton of damage. So if you do, just back up and reset, and then dodge the fireballs and keep hitting him. And there we go. Let's take our level 5 attack. I'm going to go back through the dungeon a couple times, get some experience, and I'll meet you back here when I'm at 544 with enough to get to 6. Alright, so I did some grinding. We're going to insert the crystal, and we're going to get our level 6 attack. And that's setting us up nicely for the next area of the game, which is actually one of the most difficult in terms of just the timing and the difficulty curve, and that is Death Mountain, which we'll be taking on in my next episode. So now we're going to head back to town. We have met Bagu in our last episode, so we're going to talk to the river guard, and he's going to let us finally cross the river. And then we're going to actually head to Death Mountain next time. So we're going to do the long walk back through the swamp here from Palace number 2. Maybe I can make it. I actually prefer, to have the swamp encounters because they tend to be a little bit easier to me. And you do get a lot more experience from killing the enemies. Alright, now we're going to head all the way to the south. Remember, to find Bagu, you have to go into the forest over here to the north. And he is in a slot that is 2 from the left of where the lowest level of the cliffs are there. So head into that particular spot of the forest, talk to Bagu, and then you will be able to continue past the bridge and head into Death Mountain, which we'll be saving for my next episode. So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for the continued support, of course. We already did the side quest in this particular town in my last episode, where we found the mirror for that lady right there. It was very difficult to find under the table in this house. But now we're going to head into Death Mountain. But before we do that, we're going to stop and heal. Use the life spell. Get shut out by the old lady instead of letting us into the house. So let's reset her. Do that again. And then we will talk to the guard and actually get the bridge to go across. Now the sprites are actually slightly different in the Famicom version. So they're a little bit more portly, a little chubbier in the Japanese version of the game. But yes, we know Bagu, who knows error, and they are totally not puns on mistakes that people make. Bagu was not supposed to be Bug. Nope, that was not supposed to be the case. But next time, we're going to take on Death Mountain, one of my least favorite areas in the game. But we'll do that in my next episode. So long, Saria. And I'll see y'all in my next episode when we take on Death Mountain. See you then. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.